guys, welcome back for Friday's edition of your daily dose of medicine. Remember, we're kicking off every day with those 10 belly breaths. Give yourself the grace and space to take 30 to 45 minutes just for you. Once we've done that, we want to take our PVC pipe, or in this case, I've got a band. We're going to do those 10 shoulder rollouts, just really trying to get some good motion and movement through the shoulders. From there, we're going to do 20 band pull-aparts. With the band pull-apart, we want to make sure that we lock the elbow, and as we pull back, we're trying to get the wrist behind the shoulder. If we don't have a band, don't worry about it. Just go ahead, lock the elbows out, and pull as if you had a band, so kind of an air pull-apart. From there, we're going to do 10 leg swings, 5 on each leg. So we're testing our balance here. If we don't have something to hold on to, if you don't trust yourself to not fall over, go ahead and grab the wall. If you've got like a kitchen chair, that works great as well. Go ahead and grab that. Just use that for a little bit of stability. Again, 10 in total, 5 each leg. We're then going to go into 10 total good mornings. If I've got PVC pipe, I can put that on my back. I can pull out my band that I use for the band pull-apart. So I'm going to put that on the back of the shoulders. Stepping into the band, we're going to have a heel underneath each hip. As we go down, we're going to let the knees stay kind of soft. We're going to chest parallel to the ground and stand all the way back up and through. So we're getting a nice long range of motion. When we're doing these in the warm-up unloaded, range of motion is a little bit longer than if we physically had load on your back. We're going to do that for 2 rounds. From there, we know that we're preparing for Murph. That is going to be Saturday, July 4th. So today is the end of week 2 of our Murph prep. 4 pull-ups. If we don't have access to a pull-up bar, grab either a kettlebell or a dumbbell. From there, I like to take my heels just outside of my hips ever so slightly. Chest is going to come down parallel to the ground, and I'm going to pull with a slight pause at the top of that end range of motion for 8. So 8 bent over rows in place of the 4 pull-ups. 6 push-ups, so wrist, elbow, shoulder are going to be stacked. Straight body position, elbows tight to the sides, back to full extension. If we need to elevate our hands on a chair, a coffee table, something like that, we just really want to hold that long body position, and as a very last default, come down onto the knees. We're going to cap it off with 12 air squats, heels outside of the hips. We're looking to make sure that we stay rooted in our heel, but we also want the ball of the foot to stay in contact with the ground. So we shouldn't shift so far back that our ball of the foot physically comes off the ground. From here, we're going to look to head down, keeping the chest nice and tall, getting the hip to crease the knee before we stand back up into that full extension position. It's written every 90 seconds to complete 1 round. So if you are completing 1 round in like 30, maybe 35 seconds or less, we want to go ahead and pull that time back to every 60 seconds. So that way the work-rest ratio is similar. So those of us that are taking closer to that 45, maybe even a minute to complete 1 round, we then want to take that 30 seconds of rest, so we will be on an every 90-second clock. So 4 full rounds of that before we head into our workout of the day. Our workout of the day today is 5 rounds. So sprint, rest is what we're looking for. 200-meter run. So out the back door, you're going to head, or if you have a rower, go ahead, hop on the rower for 250. If you've got a bike, hop on that for 12 calories for the men, 10 for the women is usually pretty comparable in our facility. So use that if we've got an assault bike at home. We're going to come back into 20 kettlebell swings, 55 for the men, 36 for the women. I have an 18 here for demo, just a little bit easier to control, to be able to show you guys what we want as far as points of performance. Heels outside of the hips. So I put my feet where I'm going to air squat. From there, hands are going to be on the kettlebell handle. Hip goes back, chest goes forward. We get a little bit of softness in the knee. So we're not looking to squat into our kettlebell swings. We're looking to hinge into the kettlebell swing. I want to leave my wrist as tight to my hip bone as I can, so that as I open up, I want to wait until I'm fully extended before the hands then come in. We're going to look to fully stack. So wrist, elbow, shoulder stacked without arching through the lower back. So we always, when we're doing an overhead movement, want to pay attention to what happens with our midline. Think about bottom of the rib cage staying nice and connected to the hip, even though we're in an overhead position. A couple ways that we can modify this. If we have a heavy kettlebell that maybe we're not comfortable swinging all the way overhead, we can swing up to eye height, or we can swing Russian to get our hips used to moving that heavier load. If we don't trust the heavier load overhead and we've got a variety of kettlebells, go ahead and grab that lighter kettlebell. Goal is to do 20 consecutive. We then take a 30-second rest. So again, those kettlebells, we should be able to hit 20 consecutive. If we are doing the other equipped workout today, we're going to change to a 14-minute amrap, so we're going to have continuous work. 200-meter run, so we're going to start with that same run. We're going to come back to those same 20 kettlebell swings. The difference is that we're going to go into volume air squats after those swings instead of a rest. 40 air squats. Anytime we get into high volume air squats, we want to make sure that we pay attention to what's happening with our chest in relation to the hip. It is very easy when we start to fatigue to let the chest crash forward, and then as we open up, leave that chest forward, and we never fully open. So we just want to make sure that at the end of each rep, that the chest comes nice and tall. Once we've completed that work, bring our heart rate back down a little bit, right? Clean and sanitize all of our equipment, especially if you're sharing with anybody else at home. Clean your equipment. We want to make sure that we then come into a 1-minute couch stretch. So in this case, I'm going to use a wall just because that's what I have handy. An actual physical couch is a great way to do this because I can put my knee on the soft part of the cushion, and then on the back where my head usually would be resting is where my foot would go. If we are on the floor like I am, we can have that front foot on the ground in the lunge position. Opposite leg behind us, top of the foot is going to come onto the wall. And our big priority here is opening up this hip. So I should feel a bunch of pressure in the front of the hip. In my case, I actually feel a lot of pressure more towards my knee because I have a lot of tension in my quad that I know that I need to work on doing more mobility, stretching work to try and get that to release a little better. So we're going to do 1 minute on each side. We're then going to come into a supine twist to finish off today. We're going to lay on our backs. One leg will stay straight. Opposite leg will cross over. And we'll just hold and relax. And here we're really, when we breathe, we're trying to get breath into our back and just get that twist of the spine with each breath. So we're going to do 1 minute each direction for that stretch as well. And we'll see you guys Saturday.